Hey, it's Alex from BoardGameCo, and it's time for a June collection update. More specifically, which games are leaving the collection this month and why. Now, last month I kind of mentioned, almost half jokingly, that I might have to literally go around my shelves and pull games off trying to get rid of them, which I ended up doing, but it is actually, I think this is the largest purge I've done since I started doing this video series. This is my largest monthly purge, and part of that is because you guys helped me out with my top 10 unplayed games that I least want to play. Some of those are in this video. Now I'm going to start this off with a game I can't show you, which is Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc, which many of you have seen in the background of my videos in the past. Finally managed to sell that one. It is one that I never took it off my mental headspace because I always wanted to play it. I wanted to get to the table. I've read the rules. I've prepped for it. I've set it up. But it seemed like such a beast to get to the table that eventually I got to a point I was like, I'm going to put it up for sale, and either I'll play it first or it sells first. We'll see what happens. So it took a few months, but it did sell, and that was before I played it. So goodbye, Joan of Arc. I hear good things about you, but also a little fiddliness and stuff. Either way, I hope someone else enjoys it. It is supposedly a well-rated system, a well-rated game, as long as you can look past a few typos and rulebooks thingies and whatevers. From there we go into Space Base, which is actually a two-boxer over here. We got Space Base and, you know, Shy Pluto. Now this is one that I got it back, I got rid of it, I got it back, and I'm getting rid of it again. Ultimately, while I do enjoy it, while I will never turn down a game of Space Base, and while it does get a lot of love from a lot of people, and I'm just not drinking the Kool-Aid, I don't know what it is, but for me, Valeria Card Kingdoms kills this, absolutely kills this. The art, the theme, the style, I mean, I like Space Base, it's okay, but it's one that, even after getting it back, because everyone seemed to like it, even after getting it back, I just never really got into it. Never got into it in the same way. I'd rather pull out Valeria any single time, and I am running out of space on these shelves, and I have more games coming all the time. Next up, we have Number 9. Number 9 is a game I do recommend. This is a great game. Thoroughly enjoy it. You should totally get it. I'm getting rid of it because I just found that over enough plays, it loses its luster. Over enough plays, you're doing the same thing with no real shift in the direction and the whatever. Now, a lot of games in this genre, any polyomino game, you could say that to an extent, but for whatever reason, I feel this one more than others doesn't continue to deliver a fun, interesting experience the more you play it. It is definitely a decreasing rate of return on playing this game. I think it's great. I have a good 10 plus plays under my belt, probably something like 15, 20 plays of this. Great game, highly recommend it, but for me, it's time to move on to other games. From there we have Tintas. Tintas is actually a game that was recommended by one of you guys. I can't remember exactly who, sorry about that. But Tintas is a game that I did get. I did enjoy it. For me, I just feel I have better abstracts. In fact, not only did I decide to get rid of this, but there are a few more abstracts on this culling list because of the fact that I realized at a certain point that while I enjoy a lot of abstract games, it just needs to hit a certain bar for me to realistically want to pull that one out compared to the other ones that I consider the cream of the crop. Tintas is a good game. I do recommend it. It is certainly fun. It's certainly interesting to go through a few plays. But for me, I don't feel the need to own it any longer. Next up, we have Coconuts. Now, this is one of my kids' games. I don't really play this. I have played it, but it's not, you know, my game. But this and one other are, you know, games on the list that I'm getting rid of, not because I don't play it, because at a certain point with my kids' games as well, if they just don't ask for it at all, ever, at a certain point it does hit the culling list. And this is one that we got it, they loved it, they were so into it, they love tossing those little coconuts into those little bowls. It's a lot of fun, totally addicting. But they don't ask to play it, and they haven't asked to play it since I gotten it. So I'm sure if I pulled it out and put it on the floor, they'd want it, but there are other games that they do ask for. And I think we all have the same problem. There are so many games that if you put us in front of them, we would play them, but are we choosing to ask to play those games, or are we asking to play others, and we're just willing to play whatevers? I think with my kids, it's the same thing. Of course they would like this. Of course they're happy to play it. But why should I keep the game they're happy to play when instead they have the games that they are desperately saying, no, we want to play Meeple Circus, no, we want to play Best Treehouse Ever, and Coconuts they're happy to play if I put it in front of them. Next up we have Cupcake Empire. Now, Cupcake Empire is a good game. It is fun. I got it because it seemed like a good higher level strategy game to introduce my daughter to, in terms of it's a cutesy theme, something my daughter would totally appreciate and love. I mean, just the whole style, everything pink. My daughter loves pink. She's very typical in that sense. When I say typical, I don't mean to offend anyone, but my daughter definitely loves pink. But it is a game that, while it is a good engine builder, and while there's a lot of strategy and depth to it, ultimately it's a game that it feels like it's a little over too soon. It feels like you kind of see the winner coming, you know, halfway through the game, and there's nothing you can really do to stop it at that point. This is a game that I think it's got a good engine. I think it's enjoyable, and if I didn't have better games, or if I didn't have games I liked more, I should specify, if I didn't have games I liked more, I would want to give this more tries to see how I feel about that. As it stands, it was a game that I enjoyed. It is a game that the theme is adorable, the components are great, overall very well done, but it's a game that we just felt that the winner was way too predetermined in terms of halfway through the game, and I know I've seen that feedback from other people as well, which is why I don't feel the need to continuously go into it and see how it plays out for ourselves. Good game, great theme, great art, great artwork, great box, all checking all the boxes, but not good enough for what I want to keep. From there we have Spring Meadow. Spring Meadow is... it's sad, honestly. I feel bad getting rid of this one. Spring Meadow is a game that is part of Uwe Rosenberg's Polyomino series. It is a great game. Great game. I've had this on my shelf for a while. It's the third one in the series. I am only getting rid of this because, for myself, I like Indian Summer best from that trilogy. For my kids, they like Cottage Garden best from that trilogy. Cottage Garden is a game that they do ask to play. Going back to that point, in terms of my own Polyomino tastes, I would be happy with just Baron Park, Indian Summer, Isle of Cats, and Patchwork. Those four would really do it for me. And then Feast of Odin is a different beast entirely. But in terms of lighter Polyomino games, those four would do it for me, and I wouldn't feel the need to play Spring Meadow or Cottage Garden. But my kids do ask to play Cottage Garden, versus they don't ask to play Spring Meadow, although they do like it. Same problem. They're happy to play it, but they ask to play Cottage Garden. So Cottage Garden stays, lives another day. Spring Meadow sadly goes away. It's not, to be very clear, it's not that this is a bad game at all. I really do enjoy Spring Meadow. Really do. They're too similar, all these games. All these Polyomino variants, they have too much in common and not enough to differentiate, especially within that specific trilogy, and the other ones are just better for me. From there we have a sad one. This one, I mean, honestly, a few of these are pretty sad. Runebound is a sad one. Runebound 3rd edition with basically every single expansion and everything in here, but it is one has unbreakable bonds, all that stuff. But while I like the world of Runebound, and I do, Runebound is, you know, compares to Mage Knight, although a very different playstyle, but it's an epic sprawling world where you are building up a character while you adventure, while you go on quests and do different things, and I do enjoy it, and I enjoy the character building, and I love the cards. The cards in this game are so much fun. Every time I draw more cards, whether it's equipment, whether it's skills, whatever I am drawing in this game, I want to use those things. I want to enjoy those things. I've said this again and again. I love powers. I love anything that makes me feel powerful. I love anything that makes my characters feel like that they have a unique special advantage compared to someone else. And Runebound delivers that. Very much so. But but the rest of the engine that the game is built around, the rest of the adventuring on the map often feels too tedious to get to where you need to go, to do what you need. It feels like there's a fantastic leveling up experience, and then the combat's a little meh, and the actual movement and navigation and accomplishing your quests is a little meh. I wish there was a different system built around this game. To be fair, the system is not bad, not at all. I've enjoyed my plays of Runebound, but I haven't enjoyed it enough to keep. In a world where I keep getting better games, where better games are constantly available, Runebound's playtime to fun ratio is a little bit too slow for me. It's a little bit too much of a slog. I have not played it solo, for what it's worth, so this is not a solo or cooperative review. Rather, this is my own opinion just based on the competitive play. I know a lot of people say a lot of good things about the solo and cooperative, so if you want to try it out, feel free. For me, I kept it for a lot longer than I should have, specifically to try those out, but I haven't, and it's time to move on. Next up, we have Pitchcar. Pitchcar is another great one. I'm honestly rethinking. This one might be saved. We'll see how this plays out. But Pitchcar is a game that, very similarly to Coconuts, my kids love it, but they don't ask for it. They want to play it, but they don't want to ask for the game. Once it's set up on the table, it is fun, it is great, you flick those little things around the tracks. But Pitchcar is a game I've gotten rid of 3 times now, and my kids always like it when I get it back, but they never ask to play it while I have it. And it's also a game that's great for adults, in the right circumstance, in the right situation. For myself and my group, it's not the kind of game we set up. I'd rather play Crokinole, or even, there's a soccer game, not Clask, But there's another game in that genre of games that I like Croconon. I like the other one. For myself, Pitchcar is good, but not as great, and my kids just don't ask to play it. From there we have Wavelength. I'm trying to keep these as fast as I can because this is the largest purge I've done since I started this series of monthly updates. Wavelength is going to be featured in my Kickstarter, look back videos as well. It's a game that I backed it with regrets. I gave myself the leeway to back it, but I initially wasn't going to, but then it was from the creators of Monikers, and my wife's like, go ahead, back it, we love Monikers, you should totally get it. And I did, and I'm not blaming her, to be fair. Be accountable for your own actions. If someone tells you to do something, always be accountable for your actions. So it's not like she was asking for herself. She was saying she was saying treat yourself. You want it, trying to justify it, go ahead and get it. In any case, Wavelength is a game that, it's good. I enjoy playing it. But it doesn't hold up against other party games. It doesn't hold up against Monikers. It doesn't hold up against Codenames. It's a cute little party trick of a game. It's fun to pull out for the first time with a few people and then try to play it and have fun, but there's too much variation. You don't actually feel that satisfied when you get that perfect lineup on the game. You're basically trying to give each other clues of, is something hot or cold, and you give them two different words, or is something, I don't know, cool or uncool. There are different adjectives and verbs or whatever to describe things. You have to try to find something that falls exactly wherever that bar landed. It does have rewarding moments, but on the whole, I find the game is a little bit more, it feels like you're just shooting for something and sometimes you land it. Other times you do feel like, wow, I was really in your headspace. But it's not consistent enough in the experience it delivers for me to keep it. From there we have Dvonn. Dvonn is... This is a sad one. I've had this for a very long time. This is one of the first abstracts I've gotten in terms of standard chess, checkers, whatever. I think it was probably Corridor and then this. This is part of the gift series, and this was one of my favorite ones in the series. But over time, I find consistently that I don't play this one as much. I like Yinch and Tsar the most, by far. The other ones, Gip and Punked, I didn't even bother keeping, and Dvonn and Lyngk, which we'll get to in a second, I liked but not enough. Tsar and Yinch are the ones that I enjoy the most and want to play consistently, and there are other abstracts that are not in this. Santorini, Tak, they're both great abstracts. Terra Nova to an extent. I have some few others on the shelf, I'd have to take a look, but there are some amazing abstracts out there, and while I really do like Dvonn a lot, I don't like it enough, and I find myself not pulling it out, unfortunately. From there we have Pictomania, and this is kind of a throwaway one. Pictomania, I'm really just getting rid of this one because I have the second edition. I got the second edition after playing this. I like this one. I do not play it often, and when I say this one, I mean I have Pictomania's second edition. Second edition staying on the shelf. But it is very possible Pictomania's second edition will be gotten rid of at some point as well. I enjoy the Pictomania system. It's by Vlada Schwarzel, same as Codenames. I do enjoy the system. I do enjoy the twist it puts on Pictionary, but I find it doesn't have that accessibility that Codenames does. It doesn't have that immediate ease of teaching and just getting the game that Codenames does. It is good. It is not as amazing of a twist on a classic system. I still enjoy it enough to keep playing it. I still enjoy it enough to keep Pictomania 2nd Edition. It's still one that hits the table once a year or so. And if it keeps hitting the table once a year, great. It requires the right people. A good couples game night with a less of a gamery couple. But it does have its place and I enjoy it. But Pictomania 1st Edition is just being replaced by 2nd Edition. Next up we have Lyngk. Lyngk is another one of those gift series games. This is actually the newest one in the series. And while initially I very much enjoyed this one, as I played it more and more, I found it a little derivative almost. In fact, this is probably most similar to, I can't remember the name, that first abstract, Tintas. This is probably most similar to that in the gameplay styling of it. There is a very similar aspect of the way you have to balance your pieces across the board, and the way how you don't inherently own a color, although in this game you slowly start to own colors as you keep playing. But again, same problem as Dvonn. I like it. I would just rather play Tsar or Yinch any day of the week. I find Tsar and Yinch from this series give me that feeling in the most concise form, and while I like Lyngk and while I like Dvonn, not enough to keep them, consider my shelf space and my game time is constantly being infringed upon. Next up, and this is the first one I think from, this is the first one from Lord of the Rings the card game. This is the first game I'm getting rid of based on your votes, based on your feedback from that top 10 unplayed games I least want to play. Now, to be fair, I guarantee you there's some form of confirmation bias in what I picked. But some I know that I wasn't planning. Like for instance, let's take Gugong. Gugong is staying, Mombasa is staying. Those are ones I thought I might get rid of, but there was enough of a public outcry that, outcry is the wrong word, there's enough support for how great the games were that those ones I decided to keep. Lord of the Rings I was on the fence about, and there was mixed feedback. For sure there were people who said this is great, this is amazing, this is whatever. And then there were others who, confirmation bias, echoed my own internal thoughts of, no matter how good it is, if I'm currently playing Marvel Champions, and I'm currently playing Arkham Horror the card game, do I really have the time and mental energy to jump into this? And as well, there were a few people who said that it wasn't the best system for them. It was a system that had been improved upon. So mixed feedback, plus just the practicality of having a limited number of LCGs, and I am banking this one for now. I may very well get it back one day. If I actually find myself fully exploring Marvel Champions and Arkham Horror the card game, if I ever find myself in a situation that I'm ready for the next LCG and there's not 14 new ones with amazing themes that I love, I could see myself getting it back. It's a well-rated system. I just have limited time, and so I'm getting rid of that one. Next up on the confirmation bias train is Altiplano. Altiplano is another one that, again, there were definitely Advent defenders. I think with one exception, every single game had people who defended the game. People who said, this is a great game, I love it, don't listen to those naysayers. And in this case, the naysayers are those that say Altiplano is just an inferior version of Orleans. But while there were many who defended it, while there were many who said it is worth keeping, there were many more who said it's an inferior version of Orleans. It's not as good. Now, again, confirmation bias. If I have an opinion and I get 50-50 split of responses, I'm probably going to side with where I was trending towards. This is one that I would love to keep. I have limited game time, limited shelf space, and for right now, I'm going to get rid of it. If Orleans ends up in some sort of, my top 10 games of all time, and I'm just looking for more versions. The same way I justify having 3 sets of Zombicide on my shelf. If I like a game enough, I like the variants too. Orleans is one that I'm already on the fence about and just want to play it more, so I don't currently have that mental energy for Altiplano, and goodbye for now. From there we have Monsterlands. Now this is not one that I'm getting rid of because it's an unplayed game. Rather, it's one that I decided to play because it was an unplayed game. There wasn't a ton of support for this game, not in the slightest. But someone who I do respect their opinion messaged me separately and said, oh, Monsterlands, it's great, it's amazing, you should totally play it. It's one of my favorite dice games, dice placement games. And so I figured, hey, I'll give it a shot. I've read the rules 3 times anyways, may as well try to give that one a go. It's, Altiplano I haven't read the rules at all, or the Rings I'm only partially through. This one I've read the rules, I was all prepped for, I was like, boom, got it to the table the next day. I liked it, I did, I really thought it was a good game. But similar to Runebound, I thought it was too long for what it was. There's a lot of fun to be had in the game. There's a lot of, clever moments or ability, powers. I told you about powers, I love powers. Lots of stuff you can do in this game that does really feel a lot of fun. But it's too long for the experience it delivers, or at least it was too long for us. Now, it's very possible that multiple plays would change that. It's very possible the solo play would be amazing and incredible. But I don't think I'd be able to get the same people to play it multiple times based on their feedback. And I don't think that I currently am looking at it as a solo game. Could be great, but I just have other solo games right now. So Monsterlands is sadly going away for now, but I did play it. It's not an unplayed game. From there we have the one game that got 0 support, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I don't recall seeing a single comment in support of Sine Tempore. I still don't know how to pronounce it, by the way. Sine Tempore, that thing, this thing. This game over here got pretty much 0 support from what I saw. Let me grab the bigger box. Here we go. It's big stuff here. This is one that I just didn't see anyone who gave any positive feedback. There were people who said, I have it and I want to play it. And there were people who didn't have it. And I don't think I saw anyone who said, that's a game you got to keep. And in a list of 10 games where everything else got some form of support, that is striking in and of itself. So this is one that is definitely gone because nobody cared. Nobody. I mean, granted, it's not as common just because of the sheer the Kickstarter-ness of it and the limited availability, so it's definitely not as common, but nobody, whatever. From there we have, Monumental. Oh my gosh. Okay, so these ones are going away. I kind of mentioned this in one of my Kickstarter videos. I ended up changing my mind on Monumental. Monumental is a game that I did enjoy. I have enjoyed playing it. It is a game that I like, but it's too long for what it is, and the new Kickstarter doesn't seem to be changing that. They are introducing simultaneous play, which introduces a higher degree of engagement, but doesn't seem to be introducing a shorter game. And engagement wasn't my problem in this game. Don't get me wrong, maybe it would improve it, maybe it would make you better, but then you have to get the expansion, and by then you're like $300 into basically a glorified deck builder. It's good. do not get me wrong. I like it. I think you should give it a shot. It might be completely your cup of tea. And I know many people do like it a lot more than I do. For myself, I find myself echoing Jeremy Salinas, I think, from Man vs. Meeple, who basically said the same idea, that he liked it, but not enough to keep it. And that's very much where I am. I wish I had a different opinion of it. I will note, I guess now is a good time to mention, that they announced in the Kickstarter this introduction of a giant Titan to add to the board, which for a game that didn't need miniatures at all, I don't know. I mean, again, it looks cool. I love miniatures. I just think miniatures have a time and place. Miniatures have a space in the right game, in the right collection. And this one, just reading the rules of the card and how it worked, it kind of seemed like it might just introduce more imbalance to the game and the possibility of it striking the wrong person at the wrong time and in a way that wasn't really evened out. But hey, it's a cool mini, and it sounded like they have a bunch of these Titans, so it looked cool. I want it. I totally want it. I'm like, I want it back right now, but I have to believe in it, and I don't believe in the system enough. I think it's good. I think if you like this, do not let my opinion sway you at all. I think it's a good game. I am happy to play it, but it's a little too expensive and too overwrought and too much for the game that it is, for the experience that it delivered. I am very sad about Monumental, don't get me wrong. Beautiful miniatures, amongst one of the most amazingly produced games I have seen, but I have so many games. I have to pick and choose my time, my attention, my shelf space. I hope you enjoyed this one. This was a slightly longer, I don't even know if it's long, I don't know how these, I don't keep track, but this was the largest purge I've done, if not the longest video in this series. It is a whole bunch of games that I am sadly getting rid of. I will note in terms of updates, I mentioned I would update you guys. 1 second. It's right there on the shelf. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't move. That was, you blinked. Medieval Academy is one that you guys, after my last video, said, no, you gotta try it, because I mentioned I read the rules and it just seemed eh. But Medieval Academy, I did end up playing it. I am currently keeping it. This is a game that, while I don't like it in comparison to things like Bunny Kingdom or Seven Wonders or other drafting games that I like myself, my daughter did enjoy it, and I enjoyed it, and I felt it was a great introductory level drafting game. Definitely not like Sushi Go, but like, don't get me wrong. Introductory level drafting games can be very accessible and be done very well. Sushi Go is a good example of that. So is Medieval Academy. I enjoyed it. I'm happy to play it again. I don't think it'll stay in my collection forever. I don't. I think it's good for maybe 5, 6, maybe 10 plays. I don't know. But for right now, thank you guys for, I guess, giving me that feedback and opinions and self-defense in the, not self-defense, defense in the comments down below. And I ended up keeping that. For today's recommended video of the day, the Brothers Murph. The Brothers Murph put out a, I figure it's on topic, so why not? A featured video of the day is the Brothers Murph put out a video on when is it time to get rid of a game. I have all the answers. Give me a call, guys. Give me a call. I can tell you. It's when you have too many games and not enough time, or not enough. There's a lot of different reasons, honestly, and those reasons will really come down to yourself. It could be shelf space, it could be the monetary aspect of games, it could be not enough time to play games, it could be anything, it could be when you haven't played a game in a long time. There are a lot of different reasons, but I do encourage having a reason. I see every once in a while, I see people who just want to keep the games and have no plans of getting rid of a game, and again, you're welcome to do what you want, more power to you, but don't you want to rotate those and get more games? And what about the shelf space? Aren't you going to run out of room eventually? If it works for you, it works for you. For myself, the time to get rid of a game is as soon as I can find a good enough excuse to do so. Until next time, I am Alex Radcliffe. Jeez, long video. I'm Alex Radcliffe. I just recently launched a Patreon. If you haven't heard about it yet, check out the comments down below. I will slowly, not right away, but I will slowly be moving over all the polls, as well as my weekly schedule to there, plus whatever perks and tiers there are. Other than that, please subscribe, comment, share. Let me know which games are you getting rid of this month and why. Until next time, I'm Alex from BoardGameCo. Thanks for being here, and have a good one.